Welcome into our overtime segment here on SportsSource.tv. We appreciate you hanging around for this one. We're joined by Sterling Hinton, Will Overstreet, Shazan Bradley, the former Vols. Bob Hodge, the one-year walk-on.
Yes.
For, was it full year?
Yes, I like to say I walked on and ran off.
All right, glad to have you guys here. Want to tell you, first of all, that this segment's brought to you by, you see it on my screen there, Jinx logo, 755-7767. That's Jimmy Andrews' number. You give them a call and tell them I told you to do so. Those guys are fantastic. I mean, in terms of if you need golf shirts for your company, if you need giveaway items, anything from a Nerf ball with a logo on it to a mug with a logo on it, they not only have the top brand name equipment and gear, like Nike stuff, they provide it at incredibly low prices, and that includes the logo on it. Most places, it's going to be expensive to start and more expensive to stick your logo on it. Their prices are so fantastic. I've never seen anything like them, and I've been doing this kind of business for 15, 20 years. They are great. Jinx logos, you're going to see their number on the screen. Give them a call, trust me on that. All right, we talked today's show about Tennessee, and right now, look, anything could happen. We know that. Nobody saw South Carolina's season coming. But all the trend lines going up. Everything looks positive going into the offseason, which presents Tennessee with a new problem. Maybe. You got it's still a young team. And you're going to be bringing in another group of youngsters this year. So how do they handle expectations? Because they're going to be told how great they are all season.
Yep.
You've already got people talking about next goal is Atlanta. Okay, sounds good.
Peach Bowl.
That's right. That's right. So you're asking, can this young group live up to the hype? Can they handle that hype? Sterling, I'll start with you because I know your answer. Then we'll let everybody else.
At least my answer is always consistent. I don't.
That's true.
The script. I know. I actually, when it comes to living up to expectation, I think they will because they've been planning that way every offseason until now. The hard part was getting to this problem. Now we got it. It was harder to get to this point. Now, all we have to do is continue doing what we're doing, continue that incline trend, and I believe good things will happen.
I think there's a good sign that you can use early on to say, I think it's a positive direction that they will take and they will handle this well, which is your goal was to make it to a bowl game. Yes. You did that. But you could have celebrated and you could have laid an egg when you came out to play the bowl game. Instead, you took it serious. And so you ended the season saying we want more success, not we're satisfied with where we ended and we achieved our goal. That's a good sign. I think overall just tells you, because that would be the early example of does this team meet their goal and then say good enough for this year, wait till next year. So I think that's a good sign. And you'll be able to tell early on in how this team goes about, prepares, works out, does spring. Those will all be signs are they taking the steps to get better or they stay in the same.
Okay.
Champions are made in the off season. The weight room, the going to class, getting your school lessons. I kind of, in terms of school, I went all the way through. I come through the front door and ran out the back door, But it's made here. I think Joshua Dobbs and the receivers, they need to stay. Nobody needs to go home. In the summertime, the wintertime, no time. Stay here. Get your timing down, get ready to go. I was very surprised to see him throw a long ball. The short ball, he throws it very well. I was impressed, the long ball. He can put the air underneath the ball. Timing is all these guys got to get down, and it's going to be a wrap, guys.
What do you think, Bob?
Shazan doesn't want them to leave their rooms. Can you handle expectations? It depends on what they are. And I think Tennessee's expectations should be to come out and improve on this. And improvement is what? If you go 7-5, you've improved. Who do you beat? Do you beat Oklahoma here in town? Now if people's expectations are Tennessee is going to Atlanta and playing for the SEC championship, I think it's a little high. But I think if you're just looking at improvement, taking another step, yes, this team is fully capable of it. And it seems this coaching staff does a good job of keeping them on point.
Yes.
I mean, if you looked back during the season, different games and different points during games, the coaching staff has these guys pretty well focused, and I think because of that, they can handle expectations. Can the fans handle keeping their expectations in check a little bit? Hey, let's hope for 8-4. Maybe you get to 9-3.
Yeah, but
that way you got something. But if it's we win the SEC or I'm disappointed, well, you're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I would see 9 as a hope. 8's the goal. So and here's the thing: if you're 7-5. And you wind up going 3-5 in the SEC again, but then you go to a bowl and go 8-5. Okay, that's still a step forward. It may, from 7-6 to 8-5. So even that's not a huge disappointment. But for me, the honest goal would be hope for 8-4, or target 8-4 and 4-4 in the SEC. You won 2 games in the SEC last year. You won 3 this year. Can you take us? If you're 4-4, batting 500 in the SEC this year, and they've got a tough SEC schedule again. Arkansas and Alabama from the West. South Carolina's probably going to be better. Florida seems to have your number regardless of who's coaching and where you're playing. You play them on the moon with me coaching, and Florida's got the number. So 4-4 in the league, 8-4 overall. Get to a bowl game. That means you beat Oklahoma. If you go 8-4 and 4-4 in the league, it means you beat Oklahoma and you got a signature win. I think that is a good year. The question is, where do people set that bar?
Yeah.
Because and by the time August rolls around, you know as well as I do, it's going to be 10 wins.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, if we can hear people saying 8-4, 9-4 by the bowl game in spring, and that's the consensus, then that's okay, because we all know after 2 days it is going to be 10 wins, no matter what anybody says. The consensus is going to be 10 wins. But so if it could stay normalized in the spring football season, then I think you'll be okay. But it's got to be in that area. Anything more than that is definitely an overstretch. And I think to say that if this team hits that the next year is not SEC championship is the expectation,
right,
I think is true. So I think 2016, if you hit 8-4, SEC championship being in Atlanta is your goal.
I think
yes,
that's fair.
I think that's right. The 4th year, when these guys, if Dobbs is back, and you hope, it's funny, you don't want him to play so well that he leaves next year. But if Dobbs is back and you got a senior quarterback, all these young guys are juniors and sophomores, these 2 top classes are right there. It's 2016 when you can start saying, all right, you're supposed to be favored for the East. I mean, you could be favored with a Georgia or Florida as it turns out, but you're up there talking championships. 2015 is jumping the gun, I think.
Well, what I will say, to put a little remix on your statement as far as Josh Dobbs, hope he plays good enough that he has the option to leave.
Yeah.
Don't want him to leave, just the option.
Gotcha. All right. Very good, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for being with us all year long. Tremendous. We'll have you back out here, I'm sure, at times, spring practice, that kind of stuff. Cool. And Bob, we'll see you throughout basketball season. Appreciate it. See you. I'm driving our director crazy by pointing at different cameras. We will see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. on WATE6 for the Sports Source. Thank you for joining us here online. See you next Sunday.